Jim Garrett, nice to see you.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. So here we are. We are in one of two very important rooms for our Music Direct customers because Harman's luxury group has once again elevated their experience, but not with just one, not just with two, but as many as 4 new products that are showing this year at the show. Tell me about how we got to here. What was all the thinking going on behind the scenes?
Well, we've certainly been very busy. So there's a lot of products that we've been working on that are just now coming to market. On the high-end side, this first room that we're standing in here is, of course, our new JBL Summit Series loudspeakers, which is the pinnacle of what we've been able to achieve with JBL. Our best technologies, a lot of patents that went into the design of these, and they've been in development for many, many years. And these are the first 3 models that have come to market. And then, of course, we are powering those with the new Mark Levinson 600 series, which is, the name implies, the 6th generation of electronics from Mark Levinson. It's a new ID, very much still looks like Levinson, but really up the performance of the products as well. So this room, we're showcasing the combination of those two.
What does one get when they come into this room at AXPONA and grab in terms of the musical experience?
I think a lot of people maybe have in their mind what a JBL loudspeaker sounds like, right? Or horn-loaded loudspeakers sound like. And I think they will be very surprised as they listen to these that that's not the case, right? There's a lot of things that a compression driver and a quote horn-loaded loudspeaker can do that mere mortal loudspeakers can't do, but use that stuff for good, not for evil. I think if you were to close your eyes as you're listening to these, you would never in a million years think that you were listening to a loudspeaker with a compression driver in it like these are. The detail, the dynamic capability, it's just phenomenal.
As many of my customers know, I'm a huge JBL kind of guy. I grew up around it, as you know, and I think looking at the new series of loudspeakers like these fellows, one gets a sense that they're gorgeous to look at, but they're also not super imposing, which usually is the big, like the nexus or nightmare to some people in terms of where to put these speakers in any given space.
Right.
I think the one thing also, and it goes back to what you're talking about with the horn technology, the minute I started hearing all the new HDI technology on the prior speakers that have been coming out, I was like, this isn't a directional speaker. This is a speaker for every person to just sort of gravitate towards the sofa or their specialized listening space and just feel the energy. Is that something you've also seen in the development of these pieces?
Yeah, absolutely. As we've continued to basically iterate on the geometry that's used in these high definition imaging waveguides that are in these products, really continue to evolve that. And it's got to a point where it really helps the loudspeaker in terms of the integration with the room. That's back to Harman science, on how we do as the spinoramas, and people know from our loudspeakers. There's a lot that's gone into this, and it is, as you iterate and improve all these little details on it, this is really the pinnacle of where we're at right now in these designs, and I think that in combination with the patented compression drivers that are on it really makes something pretty spectacular in the high frequency section. But then of course there's a lot of patents that are in the motor structures and things we've done for the mid bass and for the woofer that are in this speaker as well. So some really core JBL DNA that's come to bear in the new Summit series.
That's fantastic. Of course, Mark Levinson shouldn't be left out in the cold on this conversation.
No, not at all, not at all. So 2 of the 3 new products that are here in this room, that is the number 632 stereo power amplifier and the number 626 stereo preamplifier. So these are the first 2 products that have come out from the 600 series. And they're, in addition to these 2, we have the number 631, which is a very large monoblock amplifier that's available in this first wave of products here.
The real question is, can you still blow your L1, L2 lifting one of these things?
Yes, you can. Right, yes, you can.
So, advancements in terms of power amplifier technology, are there some talking points with regard to this?
Yeah, so obviously this is still classic Mark Levinson DNA in terms of the design of what we've done with it. These are AB technology amplifiers in them. They're biased, of course, with more towards Class A at the lower power levels on it. But our ultra clean, quiet power supplies that we have in here, massive toroidal power supply in here, the triple Darlington output devices that we have in here. Those are things that are really improved upon what we had in the 500 series. So also looking at just the basic circuit designs, what we've done in terms of the input stage and the analog circuits that are going around that to find ways to improve upon what we had and make them sound better. And then of course the industrial design was kind of the big lift up as well in these to give them a little more of that bling. So we've always had a bit of a conservative look with the Mark Levinson products, and now with these, It's still instantly recognizable as a Mark Levinson piece, of course, our iconic red lighting that we have in these. But we've kind of made them a little more dramatic now.
Yeah.
And you can see with the what we call kind of the core on the top of these. This is tectonic design language. So the core of the device is here, and of course, certainly represents what you would have for the large toroidal power supplies that are in these. But to have that be lit up in our brand logo that's happening here on the top, a little bit of the red accents on here, the glass fronts on them, and there's still cool little things that are in here. If you look at the shape of the knobs on it, it's a little bit evolutionary. And then I think one of the cool things here is you look at the where we've got the model number on it. If you actually swing that little guy open, that's where the headphone jack is now cleanly hidden behind it. So
That's
no visible fasteners, just sexy looking stuff.
That's incredibly Q branch of you. That's
like a shoe phone, right? Exactly.
So in terms of input-output paths, digital, any other things that also are exciting to talk about?
Well,
like
this
phono,
guy,
for
of course,
example?
this guy does everything, right? So it's a line stage. We've got our pure phono stage in it, so it's basically a Class A phono amplifier for moving magnet, moving coil. We have our Precision Link 3 DACs in these, so a new upgraded version of the DAC. And then your headphone, well, as I said, headphone line stage, phono, and high-res DAC. So basically anything that you really want to do in here. There's, I think, what do we got? Almost 12 inputs that are on these. So anything you want to connect to it, it's ready to go.
Thank you, Jack of all trades.
Yes.
We like you very much.
Yes.
But not to be outdone, Arcam and lately the folks over at Revel have come out with some new products.
Yes,
Let's go take a look at those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, with products at Music Direct, including Arcam coming up front, one of the best things that's happened for me in promoting it this year has been the fact that the Radio series have been moving like wildfire for us in terms of the all-new products in their amplifiers, and more importantly also in their streaming amplifiers, including the, I think it's the SA35 and the SA45.
SA45, yes.
Yeah, the SA45, when we featured it on NBC News last week, one of the things that went through my mind is, this is an amplifier that is really for the rest of the human race. People that don't need to sit there and just like dawdle with these little settings. It's just plug it in, get cracking, and enjoy the music.
Yep.
Has that been the idea of bringing the product to market like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this thing can do a little bit of everything, but it was that idea to really make it easy, bring in the world of streaming audio, of course, into the mix, but you've got a great phono stage in this if you want to listen to vinyl, a high-res DAC, of course, built into it, line stage, because we are using, in addition here, the now 3-time Product of the Year winner for CD players, the CD5 from What Hi-Fi magazine, right? So a lot of really positive noise that's being made in the market around this new radio series of products. So
now with the 35 and 45, and correct me if I'm wrong, these do also have room correction capability as well?
Correct. Yeah, they're both direct ready. So if you would like to upgrade to that, it's a little bit unusual, of course, in the 2-channel world to have that. But it is something, of course, that as we get into rooms where you have some difficult acoustic challenges, such as a hotel room in Detroit, where we have not used direct.
This is a hotel room? I'm baffled here.
Yes. Yeah, so it does give you that ability to kind of help eliminate the sound of the room and optimize the loudspeakers for your particular environment.
This year also marks a first for AXPONA and for General in the Harman team, in which Revel's creating a brand new line of loudspeakers, the Performa 4.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So Performa 4, as the name implies, 4th generation of our mid-tier loudspeaker series. But this is a clean sheet design, so we really started all over. We have some new drivers that were brought to bear in this series. Cabinet designs, of course, still echo what we've always done with Revel, that bit of that aerofoil shape with the curved sides on them. But it's a complete new range. So we've got 2 floors, 2 books, matching center if you want to do an AV system, and then, of course, a powered subwoofer that can go along with that as well.
One of the big things that I always loved about the Revel line, in particular the more affordable ones, is that they gave this wonderful shape of sound. And you talk about the cabinetry because it does help the speaker in terms of its integrity, but also, unlike other loudspeakers, these aren't hyper-directional. These have this wonderful 3-dimensionality. Why is that?
So one of the things about Revel, we've always used waveguides in our products, and so that's one of the calling cards for the brand. So we've got an acoustic lens waveguide, so there's a little bit of compression that goes into the diaphragm of the tweeter there, but that waveguide really then helps optimize the integration with the mid-bass or mid-range in the case of these towers that we have in this room. And so that helps really control the sound of the speaker in your environment. And it's back again to decades of research that we've done at Harman with Floyd Toole and Sean Olive and all these legendary guys that have worked with us to how speakers interact with the room environment itself. So that's been a key part of the technology. That's included here. This is actually a new 7th generation acoustic lens waveguide that we're using in these products. And in this case, it's made it to a brand new design, what we call a deep ceramic composite, or a DCC ceramic dome tweeter that's in this product.
And ceramic is a pretty hard material to work with. I mean, even if you look at beryllium and all the other usual suspects,
Yep.
controlling ringing and any other little anomalies, that's all managed through this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we spent quite a bit of time in the development of these new drivers. Of course, for those that are Revel fans, you probably recognize DCC is coming from the beryllium range of speakers, which has been our top range for the last several years. We've used that in the mid-range and the woofers that were in that product, but of course they had beryllium tweeters. In this case, we thought, well, hey, let's take that technology and just develop an all-new high-frequency driver with it. So that's what we've done. In the case of the floor standards, you get DCC for the mid-range driver itself, DCC for the tweeter, and then we're using our classic MCC, which is micro ceramic composite cones, or what we're using for the woofers in this range.
We just heard a demonstration here a little while ago, and I was immediately blown away by how smooth and sumptuous the bottom end is. And that's a sticking point, especially with loudspeakers that have to maintain a slim profile. People would then say, well, can I use a subwoofer? I don't think I actually needed it when I was listening to the track in here.
Yeah. This speaker plays down to about 30 hertz on the bottom end. The predecessor in this had dual 8s. We've switched to 3 6.5s in this case, so we've got a lot of capability on the bottom end of it, but it's still a very neutral speaker, right? It's not just bombastic bottom end to it, but it does dig deep. We wanted it to be a truly full-range loudspeaker.
That's wonderful. Well, Jim, I know this is a busy weekend for everyone here at AXPONA, and certainly for the team at Harman.
Yeah.
Beyond glad to
Thank
see you
so
as
much.
always.
Yes. Yep.
And we'll just laugh at the bar later tonight.
Sounds good.